drug addict driver no license insurance kills motorcyclist before fleeing to take cocaine. A drug addict driver who had no license or insurance killed a motorcyclist in a head-on smash, then fled from the scene in order to take cocaine. Daniel Price had 2 young children in the Ford Galaxy people carrier he was driving when he overtook another car and hit the oncoming bike. Rider Martin Elam, 47, died on his way to hospital following the incident last August Bank Holiday Monday, while his pillion passenger and partner, Trudy Edgington, was left registered disabled after suffering multiple fractures. Price, 40, was jailed for 6 years and 8 months yesterday after a judge heard he drove off from the scene of the collision and then made 6 phone calls before eventually calling for an ambulance. He had been driving unsupervised on a provisional license and at the time of the crash on the A52 at Ansby, Lincolnshire, and was on police bail over an earlier offense of driving while over the drug drive limit. Judge Andrew E. Steele said it was quite clear that the earlier arrest had no impact on his behavior or his conduct when he drove. Lincoln Crown Court heard Price had been traveling so closely behind the car in front before pulling out to overtake it that other drivers initially believed he was being towed by the vehicle. As a result of the collision, both Mr. Elam and Ms. Edgington were thrown from the motorcycle. Passing motorists stopped to help and Mr. Elam asked them about his partner before he was taken to hospital. He died during the journey. Judge E. Steele said that the overtaking maneuver meant a collision was unavoidable and inevitable, adding, after the collision the defendant got out of his vehicle and had the opportunity to see the carnage his driving had resulted in. Very shortly afterwards he left the scene. His priority was to get to a place where he could take controlled drugs. Prosecutor Robbie Singh said that at the time of the crash, Price, a drug addict for 20 years, had been heading to his mother's home after texting her to say he had run out of drugs. Mr. Singh added, she suspected he had run out of money. When he arrived at his mother's house he went to his room. And he injected drugs. After his arrest Price told police he had injected himself with a mix of cocaine and the heroin substitute drug Subutex, saying he took the drugs to calm himself down. Miss Edgington spent weeks in the Queen's Medical Centre, Nottingham, following the crash and still relies on crutches to walk. In a victim impact statement, she told the court she has been left completely devastated and heartbroken by the loss of Mr. Elam. She described how as the Galaxy pulled out into their path, Mr. Elam had shouted no, no, no over the radio link they had set up so that they could talk to each other during motorcycle journeys. She added, it kept coming in our lane and then there was a massive collision. I could feel my head being thrown back, then nothing. The next thing I remember is waking up on my back. I had unbelievable pain in my legs. The couple were returning to their home in Donington, Lincolnshire, after a day out at Matlock Bath, Derbyshire. Price, of Harlaxton, Lincolnshire, admitted causing the death of Martin Elam by dangerous driving and causing serious injury to Trudy Edgington by dangerous driving. He was also disqualified from driving for 8 years and 4 months. Price was subsequently convicted of driving with an excessive amount of controlled drugs in his bloodstream in relation to the earlier offense. In November, magistrates handed him a £160 fine, ordered him to pay £85 costs and £30 victim surcharge and banned him from driving for 12 months.